Hey, Shirley. How are you, honey? Oh, I'm glad, hon. Yeah, I have about like 20 minutes. I'm so tired. I have to get dinner situated, all that stuff. But I'm not going to be able to get on tonight. So I figured I would jump on here real quick right now. Okay, Ken. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Hey, Laura. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to get on tonight like I usually try to do Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday every week. So I wanted to get on here now. That way, I gave you guys even just a little bit of encouragement before the end of the night. So how's everybody's night going? One thing I was excited about is getting this Barbie hoodie. Now I know, like, I've talked to a lot of you. It was only $6, guys. Okay, literally, it was at Target. And you know, I'm not a feminist or anything, but you know, I still like Barbie. And I've told you guys all that I work with about how the world's getting so bad that Barbie was like the #1 movie in the world, like how they're trying to like do this feminist stuff and you know, women against men and all this different stuff. But when I went to Target, like, I don't know why, this is going to be a whole word itself. What's important to us is important to God, you know? And I've been going in there for like the last year, and I've wanted a hoodie, not a hoodie, a sweatshirt that is like a Barbie sweatshirt that's cute. And just none of them really hit my eye. Please get down. It's my cat. None of them really hit my eye. And they weren't like girly enough for me. And I basically just kept looking and looking, and it was so funny because I went in there today quickly to get something. What was I getting? Oh, my neighbor wants me to make this pasta dish, so I needed to get some ingredients for it. And I seen that the sweatshirt was out discounted $6, and this was my favorite one because it had like all different kinds of Barbie, you know, all like even the races and stuff. Like there's like different kinds. Well, anyway, and I'm like, God, you're something else, because I wanted one and I like the brown. I think brown like is, what's the word for it? Like a nice color that goes with the pink. Anyways, that was something that was important to me, just to let you guys know. Not important like death, like life or death, but it was something that I wanted. And God actually, you know, gave it to me. This is why I try to tell people that God will give you the little things, okay? You know, that you may not think are important to show you who He is. A story I like to always use is my mother was a real, like, baby. Well, I shouldn't call her a baby, but she cared a lot more about the Happy Meal toys than we did. She liked the stuffed animals and stuff back when we were little, you know, that they would give like the little Beanie Babies and stuff. Well, I always tell this story to my clients just to give them like an example of how good God is. So she really, really wanted, I don't know if you guys remember Happy Feet, but Happy Feet was out at the time. And she really wanted the Happy Feet toy that came in the thing. Well, my sister was real little. We would go over to McDonald's, and my mom just kept going up to the front. Hey, do you got the Happy Feet toy back in yet? And they would say, no, we're still out of it, this, and that. And, you know, she almost was looking like a nutcase, if I'm being honest. Like, they're thinking, this old lady, like, please, even though she's not old, she's only 52 now. But, like, what is she worried about with this Happy Feet? Like, get a life here. Okay, they're just trying to do their job. And she won't quit. So she's telling my brother, me, and my brother's friend at the table, I just really want that happy feet. So we go back a couple more times. And my brother, me, my brother's friend, and my sister were there. My mom goes up to the front asking again, did you get the Happy Feet toy back in? No, ma'am, we didn't. So she's sitting there. She just pretty much gave up on the situation. She's like, well, I guess I'm just not meant to have it, because she was collecting like these little Beanie Babies. So the guy says about 15 minutes later, hey, ma'am, come here. So she gets up and she goes up and she said, you're not going to believe this, he says. Some random person came in here and said that they wanted to exchange the Happy Feet toy that they got from a different McDonald's, and they would rather have a different toy. Now, who the heck would do that, guys? Well, my mom knew that it was God, because like it was something that was important to her, and it was between her and him, and he actually, gave it to her. So my point is, I always tell people to be specific, because what's important to you is important to him. And he wants to bless you and show you that it is him by little details like that. Rose said, brown and pink looks nice. Yeah, I know. I like brown and pink too. I don't know what it is about it. I think brown and pink go pretty together, which is odd. I don't know why. I think I'm just changing in general as I get older. I never thought that I would say I liked things I didn't like, like before. I was debating on getting a Barbie tee. Yeah, I know. I have a Barbie tee too. I have the pink one. It just says Barbie and it's light pink from Target. It was like $8 or something. I just think it's cute. I'm just so feminine in general. Hey, do you like jackets? Yeah, I like jackets. I like jean jackets. I like, athletic jackets like I was wearing earlier today. I like sweater jackets, all kinds of stuff. So I hope that little testimony gave you guys some encouragement about how God is, how he is so, he likes to blow your mind on, a sneeze was coming, guys, and it stopped. He wants to blow your mind on little things like that. So basically, how do I put this? He showed me through my life little testimonies so that like I would remember the little testimonies as I got older. So something I remember also is he would always somehow use boyfriends in the past is like things for me to remember. So my very first boyfriend, his name was Anthony Triano. And he was real, popular at school. And I remember, like we were 3 years apart. We started dating, but common sense, how were we really dating, honestly? I was 13 and he was 16. So I'm sure you got, like, any men that are listening, like, they're going to want things that, maybe a 13-year-old girl isn't willing to do. But then again, today, in this day and age, they probably are, if you don't got God. Well, anyways, I wasn't willing to do that, all that different stuff. So we ended up breaking up. Girls were real nasty. They were, I guess you could say, mad I was dating him. And, like, they would harass me. Well, they called me, like, Mother Teresa, all kinds of stuff. Well, anyway, I remember when we broke up, it was my first boyfriend, so I got upset. All that stuff. So I was 13, and I remember my mom told me, she's like, okay, Meg, we're going to try something here. She's the one that taught me the word method that I teach you guys to do. She's like, we're going to do something different and have you start maybe, getting close to God, reading your Bible, and we'll, sit together and read it, maybe start doing some things around the house, like things like that were little for like a kid to be able to comprehend. So we did it. And I remember the whole summer, like I really tried. And God works with you where you're at, So what he ended up doing was, this guy made such a fool out of me, there was no way he could have came back. Because he was dating, like, another girl at school, and he just made a huge, I guess you could say, disaster, right? So God did what I never thought could be done. And he actually had him completely in 3 months of no communication. Now, this is like an example to kind of show you how, like, God works in steps, like the younger, like basically while you're young, okay, like he will reveal himself, and then it'll get increasingly more difficult. That's why each test is going to be a little more difficult. But what he did was, he had him, I'll never forget the day. I was up in the bathroom, like doing something. I can't remember what I was doing. Like maybe like putting stuff away, you know, in the bathroom. I can't remember. And I get a random text, and he says, "Hey, Meg, it's Anthony." And I think he even put his last name because he thought like maybe I was dating somebody else. He said, "I just wanted to tell you how sorry I am for how things ended between you and me. And I miss you, and I'd like to talk," or something like that. So my point is, I remember I screamed, not because of him, but I really, like, because I felt really strong that God was going to have him come back. And this happened, I could give you so many other stories, but it was interesting because I thought it was crazy how he even came back in the first place. So I remember we got back together, and all the girls were so mad, and they're like, "Oh my gosh," you know, they couldn't believe he came back to a virgin, you know, all the different things, because this guy was definitely not a virgin. So my point is, God really made me shine. Another time he made me shine was in 4th grade, when all the girls were being mean and nasty and all that stuff, because I was more shy back then. I wasn't like I am now. And I remember I was the first person in 4th grade that hit the division timed thing. Like they would like time you in a minute to get as many done, like 40 questions. And I was the first one in the 4th grade that actually made it to the division course. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe God did that. And I knew then that it was God. Like, I couldn't believe he did that, you know. The boys in high school used to call my wife. Okay, so wait, sexiest, or what did they say? And she replied, proud of it. Okay, so what, first off, Carrie, forgive me, what do you mean? Sexiest. Maybe I'm the one that's misinterpreting it. But, you know, so basically, I get what you're saying, though, that she didn't, like, put out and stuff like that. And that was how I was, too. I was such a Mother Teresa, I guess, to them. And they used to call me, like, Virgin Mary, you know, all the things. But I didn't want to do it. Oh, Sexless. Okay. Sexless. I thought that was an I. That's my bad. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a compliment now, you know. And I might have not been that experienced, but you know what? I don't really care, honestly. Like, because see, here's the thing. It's not about judging girls that are, but anybody that has, I can assure you, I've done a lot of reading. Girls that, you know, have sex young and typically are more promiscuous, it's a rejection wound. They feel rejected, so they feel that if they do that, they're going to feel some type of love and connection. That's what's sad about it, because it's not what people think that it is. It's not them just being a whore. I'm only using the word because I don't want to spell it out. This isn't going to be a religious channel. You know, you already know that. It's definitely the case. Now, which one are you referring to? That was definitely the case with me. You mean like the promiscuous part? Men don't care. It's actually endearing when girls protect their... Well, you know what? That's good to know, honestly. Because a lot of girls feel like inferior. Well, women that I coach too, that if they don't give their husband intimacy, that they're going to get it elsewhere because they're deciding to protect themselves and protect, you know, well, I should say respect themselves. And I try to tell them the same thing God showed me. Whether you do it or you don't, they're not going to, the sex isn't going to keep them. And you respecting yourself actually is what is going to help them respect you. Well, Tara, don't at all you know, that those days are over. And now that God revealed to you it, now you can move forward with it. There's no judgment, there's no condemnation. Something that I did that, you know, was my thing is I always needed reassurance from people. So like my word I never felt was good enough. So I always had to say to somebody, well, this person agrees with me, or that person agrees with me. In other words, I didn't feel confident in what I had to say. So something my coach always would ask me is, Megan, who told you to shut up in life? Who told you you weren't good enough? Because the reason why I was doing that is I didn't feel good enough in what I had to say. So I had to say somebody else said it. Does this make sense? Which was a rejection issue. It was a different form of rejection. Should frogs be allowed on public transport? I don't really know the answer to that question. Sorry, pal. I'm glad it makes sense, Tara. Because everything is rejection. So like people that do drugs and alcohol, that's rejection. In other words, they don't know how to cope in tough times. So they find something to do. Or like, for instance, women, you know, that are promiscuous, they want love. They want connection with somebody. So they put themselves out there in that way. Or like my sister's a great example. I love her so much. But she would try to like be sexy with a guy. Not do anything like that. She's actually still a virgin. But more of a tease. Like she would like act sexy. Okay? Things that like, okay, in other words, it would be a tease. She wasn't going to do the way she was acting. So in other words, if you're flirting with a guy, common sense, you're not going to have sex with him. And I've told her this over and over again. You're not going to do anything with the guy. So why do you flirt? Okay, so the reason why she used to do that is because she wanted attention. And attention seeking is rejection. You need someone to validate yourself. You need someone to make you feel good. Okay, so yes, that's true. I think it's Gita. But it depends. When you are in a marriage, there needs to be sexual boundaries, of course. And if a woman doesn't feel safe, she's not going to want to have sex. And the man needs to respect that. And if a man wants to do dirty things that a woman's not okay with, he needs to respect her boundaries. There needs to be boundaries. So that only goes so far. And then if a man or a woman leaves you, like Paul says, you're called for peace. That's not the same thing, because if they're choosing to check out and not be your husband and wife, you don't give your cake and eat it too. In other words, you're not called to be a doormat. So in other words, why would someone buy a gallon of milk if they can milk the cow whenever they want? This is why people get treated the way they do. You're right, but it also goes the same way with women. Women need to feel safe in order to be able to do that. Rejection and abandonment issues cause me to make so many mistakes that I used to regret. It's funny how my husband is leaving and finally developing a relationship with God has changed all of that. Yes, it does. Oh, absolutely. That's why the separation, I try to tell people, is necessary to get where you need to be. So in other words, if you don't let yourself go through the motions of separation and get to where you need to be, you're not going to be able to be of use to your spouse. Okay? You're going to still struggle with your own soul wounds and your own trauma bonds. And this is why people can bond over trauma, because it's soul wound connections, all that different stuff. Should we move on? If the spouse that left is living in adultery and a non-believer, yeah, you can move on without moving on. I'm not telling you to go move on with somebody else, but yes, you should move on with your life. God doesn't tell us to sit there and wait on the person. He wants us to move on with our life and do all that he's called us to do. And then that person, when they wake up, will catch up to you. Exactly. Iron sharpens iron. 100%. I look at things so differently now that I'm telling you guys, if you trust the process, you'll understand in time. If they break after hardship, they were always weak. If they break after hardship. So, yeah, we all were weak. That's why we were called to become strong in the Lord. Does this make sense? All right, guys, I have 4 minutes. Shoot your questions. But yeah, these trials and tribulations make us strong. And yes, I am. But I think your name's Gito or Guido. I don't know how to explain that. But yes, when it comes to the marital bedroom, all the things, we basically have to respect people's boundaries and stuff. There's sexual boundaries, and people need to respect them. It seems like I've been reaping the consequences of my husband's sin while he's still in rebellion with the other woman. Why does it take so long for them to reap their harvest? Okay, so here's the thing, Amy. We do reap part of the, curses of our spouses. This is why we have to break the generational curses. But to answer your question, basically, the reason why it takes so long is God is giving them free will. So he wants them to wake up all on their own. So basically, because of him wanting them to wake up all on their own, this is going to require him to have patience. I encourage you to read Romans chapter 2. It will explain how he's patient and how he lets basically, a lot go on. And then, you're going to end up under the wrath, correction and conviction, and then the judgment, which is what happened to all of us. My dad used to say that too, choose wisely. But here's what I'll say. Everything we do, basically, God is going to work for good. So even if you did choose, a spouse that maybe, you could have chose better, God's going to work it for his good. So you can't really make any mistakes. Everything will work for your good. So you could go, do what Saul did. Saul was out murdering Christians, and God turned that for his good too. Anyways, Guido, welcome to the channel. I believe it's Guido, or yeah, Guido. Things build up in their heart that brings repentance. Absolutely. Too many dead spouses for me to... Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, honey. I know how that can definitely happen. I know how that definitely can happen. My mom actually is a widow now. My dad died 3 years ago. So I know how literally what it's like to experience a dead spouse and then someone that becomes dead. I'm glad that you like it, Guido. I am a life coach. I would love to help you work through some of your stuff. If you'd like to email me, you can email me at deadmarriagesredeemed@gmail.com or redeemingthebroken@gmail.com. If you want, we can set up a session together and work together through all this stuff. I would love to help you. I am definitely here if you need me. And we have a Facebook group you can come over to, Guido. Redeeming the Broken is my Christian one. And I encourage you all to come over because that one's going to be Christian-based for everything. That's Redeeming the Broken. Come on over. And then the marriage one, Guido, is Dead Marriage is Redeemed. So I will talk to you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your night. I will try to get on here again this week. If not, basically, I will talk to you guys in a video tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, Guido. You can also subscribe. If everybody could please like the live, I would really appreciate it. I'm not married and I want to solve my own problems for now. Iron sharpens iron. Okay, so if you want to solve your problems for now, that is completely fine. No problem. Aw, thank you, Carrie. That's so sweet. Carrie is such an awesome guy, guys. And you know what? I'm going to give him a shout out. He's working for Pastor Vlad's church. Can you believe it? He is being so promoted right now. God is doing so much in his life. Hold on, guys. So many of my clients are really reaping this season. It will happen for you too if you do not give up. You have been such a blessing. Thank you for what you do. Oh, Tara, thank you. I don't know if you're on the Facebook groups, but come on over and you can email me anytime, message me on Facebook. Thank you, Roy. God bless all of you. You guys are so sweet. So I will see you guys tomorrow. If you want, you guys can email me some questions and maybe I'll do like a whole question and answer series. I try to do that as much as I can. I will do that too. I have a lot of content that I am going to upload, but maybe I'll take a break and answer some questions for you guys. All right, guys, you all have a wonderful night and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.